This is actually a pretty awesome setup here. It's gonna be hard to see and really understand what's going on in here. What you basically see is you have about 16 parts stacked up inside of there right now. And it gives us the ability to stack up loads of material and get tremendous runtime out of one load.
Right.
On one pallet. Actually, this is a really good example of some of the things that we're doing in dramatically increasing our efficiency about running work in our 5-axis. Because of the amount of parts that we need to produce out of this particular machine, we started taking out much of the roughing cycles out of this machine, where we used to just load raw material in here and you'd get net parts out of it. But we realized that, again, when you start saying, hey, I'm running out of capacity on certain machines, yet we have standalone verticals that we could put other parts in, basically like you saw we did with the Haas over there, where we had that 6-pallet pool. And basically on that machine, we're literally just in sort of a high rate volume roughing cycle, where we're taking basically rectangular parts and turning them into round parts that are going to end up in our turning center, right? And so instead of having some of our super talent stand in front of a machine and load a part, stand there and wait for the part to get done, we stack up a bunch of parts on multiple pallets and allow the super talents to go do the, use their talents versus standing there in front of the machine just loading parts in and out. So we're looking at how do we get more efficient per work center, and then other work centers that aren't as efficient, how can we take some of the load off of the high dollar work centers like this 5-axis and pull that low dollar work out and then go stick it in our low dollar machines where it actually belongs, right? So we invest a tremendous amount of dollars in work holding, and how do we stack up as many parts as we possibly can in one load cycle that we can, because then our super talents can go off and do their thing, and our machines do what they do really well, which is run nonstop part after part. Our tool changer is stacked up in here, and I'm pretty sure this is 140 tools.
Okay.
You just can't see them. They're all tapped into
big
this
boxes.
Really unique, this whole unique station. So everything that we do is a system. Right now we're doing hard metals. This machine I bought specifically for like 1 or 2 jobs, and all of our cutters, work holding, and all that is basically built around machining hard metal parts, meaning generally non-aluminum.
Like
so
titanium and that sort of
titanium and stainlesses and all the hard metal stuff. So this is not a good video right now to get into like how this machine is designed, but I will talk about the growth. Like if I was to engineer the ultimate 5-axis machining center, this is it, the way they did it. And we'll talk about that at some point, but right now we're just talking about efficiencies. And does the physical part build from a Grove to a Mori to Mazak, any of the other machine tools, they're all arguably the same or arguably different depending on what camp you come from. I drove to a machine more like this because of all the other automation that we're going to snap in and the ability to get inside sort of the inner workings of the control and be able to add on other tools and devices. This manufacturer uses Siemens controls and Siemens system, which are basically off-the-shelf components, whereas opposed to like this beautiful Japanese-built machine tool over there, the Toyotas, they have FANUC controls on them, and it's like a black box. Like you can't even really add in or snap into their systems without going through them to add or subtract things onto that cell. Whereas this machine, we have the ability to get off-the-shelf components that go on the machine tool control side, which is the automation, where we could snap this machine into a whole row of other machines. We can add all kinds of robotics to it. Like they really allow you to do some pretty amazing things. And so we bought this 350 as kind of our intro into this world. And, we were so impressed on pretty much everything. We ended up buying its big brother, if you will, which this is a 350, this is a 550, just much larger capacity. But instead of just having 2 pallet systems that can swap out, this one has 13 pallet system, which you can walk over here. And there's a robot in the center. And then there's 3 pallet stack series in here with the whole series of different styles and shapes of work holding. And then, of course, it's a rotary. So this particular one is an R13. So there's 13 pallets in, and then one that's in the machine. And so that particular machine, the way that it's designed, you can call it, a high production where you can run, tens of thousands of parts. But really what they're good at is running onesie twosies, because much like we were showing you here with the tool bank that's built into this one has a larger tool capacity. Well, you can't see it, it's on the other side of this machine, but has a much larger tool capacity in that one, plus all the pallets on the front side of this. And like in your mind, you would, this is how I always thought about it originally when I started looking at high production pallet systems and machines like this, is that they're going to be really good at running high volume, very few different styles and shapes of parts. But in the reality, what they're really good at is running a high mix of lots of individual parts, because we learn how to hold on to different styles and shapes of materials, but we can do such a variety of different
tools.
Because we have such a huge tool bank in here, we can run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different styles and shapes of parts in one machine, because of how we actually built and designed systems around what we call a work statement. So what we like to do is stack up all kinds of different styles and shapes of material, like aluminum parts, right? In that particular cell. And that way that all the different types of tools, cutting tools that we use, they're already built into our machine, because every time we basically have a new package of parts, we're programming it around the existing tools that are in there, plus adding in a few more, which then keeps building our system. Therefore, anybody that comes to us that has a part that's in a certain geometric shape or size, we're pretty much already set up, ready to go, right? So what we do is we dramatically reduce our setup and turnaround time, because really what you're waiting on is how do I get the material in there and get the program done? Because the tools are probably already in the machine, and the way that we're going to hold the parts already built into the machine. So our ability to get new parts in and out is, pretty high. And so it makes us incredibly productive. And then ultimately, makes us very versatile, because we can talk to a whole slew of different industries and, product type, where we're not just locked down into a very specific, small box of operation. We have a really high-end version, or I'd say very, very large capacity of very specific types of work that we can do. So very unique types of machines, unique approach. But I think what's going to happen, and it's already happening, is that anymore we're not doing things that differently than most other shops that have amazing talent, amazing work holding, amazing tools, amazing machine tools. And so the machining side of things are becoming a bit commoditized, meaning that there's a lot of really smart people that are building really high-end materials and parts. And so what we're going to be teaching, I think that's going to be way more advantageous for people that are starting up in the manufacturing business all the way through growth and scale and ultimately exiting, is how do we get really efficient at the raw material coming to these fancy machines, and then what happens on the other side of it going out? Are you assembling, managing outside processing, and then all of the other places that you can start driving efficiency in your business?